Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from March 18th until March 25th. What a week of energy we have underway. And over the course of these next few days, we will have the Pisces New Moon, the Sun entering Aries, Mercury stationing direct, conjunct the North Node in Pisces, no less, plus a very active Sun in Aries, making conjunctions and important connections that create a new pathway, which will open up as we move further into Aries season. So yes, there is a lot happening right now. You might be feeling and sensing it. You might also feel a bubbling excitement around what is going to be transpiring for you in this new season and this new journey. So a lot to discuss in today's show, and we'll get to the astrology in just a moment, but I also wanted to bring your attention to what is going on out there in the cosmos, way above our heads, as we have an interesting development that occurs with the equinox. So the equinox is going to be exact on Friday, March 20th at 10:46 a.m. Eastern Time, which is when the Sun enters Aries. However, the other thing that occurs is that during the equinox, there is equal spans of day and night as the Sun crosses the celestial equator. And if you were standing on the equator, the Earth's equator, the Sun would appear directly above you rather than to the north or to the south. Now, at this time, the magnetic field of the Earth is linking more strongly and powerfully to the magnetic field of the Sun. And so that increases Earth's ability to receive the Sun's light codes, neutrinos, solar wind, CMEs, and solar flares. So there's an intense relationship with the Sun at the equinox points, which happens twice a year. There is also expected to be a CME that hits the Earth on March 19th, so just hours before the vernal equinox. It's vernal here in the Northern Hemisphere, just before that's exact. And so this is a burst of energy from the Sun, ushering us into a new season, but also ushering us into a new journey around the astrological wheel that's going to be propelled and accelerated. So essentially, there's a lot happening over the course of this week that signifies new momentum, new energy, and rebirth. And then, of course, we pull into the equation the fact that we also have a Pisces new moon, which is when the sky is the darkest, and we are seeding new intentions into our consciousness that will develop and unfold over the next 2 weeks. So this could bring about momentum and turning points that you've been waiting for. This could be a fresh burst of understanding, inspiration, and consciousness that you've been seeking. If you have felt you've been waiting in a state of trust and surrender, this could be a week where much more moves forward and moves ahead. And also stay aware of the energy you're feeling in direct connection to the Sun, because I feel there is an increase in solar consciousness and solar wisdom. And think of how the Sun is always on, it's always shining brightly, and it's always blasting powerful energy that can't be denied, hidden, or repressed. The Sun is always on. So what are you receiving at this time that maybe is a powerful message or insight that you have denied or haven't wanted to fully see, and now it's presenting itself very strongly and accurately? I feel that is one of the important themes over this next week, because there's going to be things that arrive and maybe even create shocks, breakthroughs, and higher level understandings that are meant to be seen. That, of course, is supported here in the astrology of this week, but I feel that is part of the energetic composition of this time. And there are multiple things in the astrology that align with that same theme. So let's go through it here and break it down as Pisces season ends and Aries season begins powerfully. So on March 18th, we have a Pisces new moon at 28 degrees of Pisces in your chart, and it is exact at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Time. So the new moon could be on March 19th for you, depending on your time zone. Also occurring on the same day, the Sun in Pisces sextiles Uranus in Taurus at 28 degrees, and Venus in Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees. Now, I have been discussing this Pisces new moon for a bit. We covered it in last Wednesday's show. Plus, I have separate videos for you on YouTube discussing more the significance of the new beginnings that are coming through at this time. So I don't want to repeat myself here, but I do want to summarize that this is a Pisces new moon that's bringing in new creations that you haven't been able to access for the past 2 years. That's because both Saturn and Neptune have been moving back and forth across this same area of your chart, requiring you to do deep spiritual work, requiring you to responsibly show up and move through whatever requires your attention, effort, and internal transition. This has required you to continue to trust and have faith in a process, to retain a level of hope and faith in what can transpire next. More importantly, this has signified what you are closing out in spiritual lessons permanently and thoroughly. This has been a thorough excavation in energies from other lifetimes and other realms that have been accumulating. It could feel like there's been spiritual debris or an accumulation of soul memories, soul imprints that Neptune and Saturn have required you to work through and learn from, to gain wisdom from what those energies are for you, and to stay open to what you don't know. That's also part of the Pisces journey. That's that blind faith and ongoing trust in what you're not sure will transpire or happen next. But now that Saturn and Neptune have both moved into Aries, they're no longer residing in that Neptunian uncertainty. And there is more now that's coming to your awareness around what needed to be cleared out, unraveled, and completed. And I do feel that this has moved into multiple lifetimes and multiple soul experiences. There has been a reverberation of this energetic transition. And I'm seeing too that this is what has allowed you to transcend or move forward after years of that intense work and focus. By no means has it been easy, but it's been worth it, or at least hopefully that's what you'll be feeling at some point, because after this new moon, the energy then transitions into Aries, where less than 2 days after this new moon is exact, the sun moves across that Aries Equinox threshold point and begins a whole new journey of creation, beginnings, inspiration, and action. The Aries energy takes action to move ahead, to make things happen. And this particular Aries season is going to be very pronounced with what you're ready to start now that is in divine timing and higher alignment. Now, as I was preparing for today's show, I was sitting here and visualizing some of the energies that are coming forward as we move from Pisces season into Aries season. And one of the images that I was receiving was very specific, and it was related directly to Rembrandt and Vermeer, and more specifically related to the Dutch golden age of painting in the 17th century, where the Dutch created the use of contrast in their canvases, in their artwork that would illuminate something important. And so if you're familiar with this genre of art, Dutch painters in the 17th century were the first to develop this ability to showcase dancing shadows with light. And so you can look at one of their masterpieces, such as Rembrandt's Night Watch, which is one of my favorites, and it's in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. And in this particular painting, he is strategically leading your eye to the focal point of information you're meant to focus on, like a laser beam directing you through the shadows. And so this is a demonstration, the power of light as it moves across a canvas and intentionally guides your eye to something important. This is the sun entering Aries, breaking through the fog and mysticism of Pisces. This is where the sun rises, brings your attention to something that can no longer be hidden, and that sun in Aries is the laser beam focal point of truth, honesty, courage, and insight that explains more of what the Piscean realms have been wandering through and trying to figure out. I also think it's fascinating that one of the reasons why Dutch painters were known for being excellent at this particular type of work was because of where they lived, the geography of the Netherlands, and being in the clouds, gray skies, and rain of the area, that when the sun shone, when the sun came out, everybody comes out, everybody's at a park, everybody emerges, because that light is an invitation. The sun is an invitation to move, take action, and to see something ordinary, assumed, or commonplace in a new way. The sunlight is like a high beam of direction and focus. And it was also commonly used to demonstrate religious significance, like the light of God, the light of the Holy Spirit was shining through. But however you wish to interpret it, there's a sense here of something breaking through the clouds, a light shining brightly on what you need to see, removing the fog, mystery, and confusion that can grow in Pisces season. And this is going to be the start of an empowering journey where that sun enters Aries, and at the same time, Mercury stations direct at 8 degrees of Pisces, conjunct the North Node, also on March 20th. The station direct occurs at 3:33 p.m. Eastern Time, and this means that Mercury has an important announcement to share about what he has been receiving. The Mercury in Pisces journey has been one of reflection, listening, and being more receptive to what you're meant to see and understand from a bigger viewpoint. It is meant to take you higher in trusting yourself, your intuition, and your soul's guidance. It's also meant to be quieter, more silent, more internal. And so as Mercury stations direct on the North Node, there's going to be greater clarity about what you've been learning and integrating, what you've been trusting, especially if you have been in process with something. There's also a significance here to fated conversations, communications, and messages. This is where that North Node is signifying you're here to go further in these Pisces realms simply by trusting divine timing. I'm feeling like Mercury stationing direct is also going to alleviate a burden and perhaps help you move through any mental confusion, uncertainty, or unknown answers. This feels like a Mercury that's going to also feel, like really feel it at a core level, what he's meant to know. And there is an element of divine timing here that Pisces rules. So it looks to be quite a start to Aries season, and turning point energies are highlighted. So March 20th is not only the equinox, it is International Astrology Day, as we celebrate a new beginning point and journey around the astrological wheel. Also, once Mercury stations direct, all planets will be direct until May 6th, when we'll have Pluto station retrograde. So this really kickstarts a lot of action and momentum that you might feel occurs more effortlessly and easily. And we'll take that, right? Like, yes, bring about more of that, please, because this is where things are going to align and show up. I think there's going to be more synchronicities that appear, and you might even have a greater sense of trust in what you're meant to do, where you're meant to go, what is essential for you now. This is all connected to that Mercury conjunct the North Node in Pisces, plus Mars is also in Pisces at this time. Now, Mars is important because Mars is the ruler of Aries. And as Aries season begins, we have 6 planets in Aries already. The Sun at 0 degrees Aries, the world point, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, the Moon, and Chiron are all moving through Aries together, bringing about more courageous developments that you're ready to take on and move towards. Yet all those planets in Aries are ruled by Mars in Pisces. And interestingly, that Mars in Pisces is in mutual reception with Neptune in Aries. This means that they are in each other's ruling sign. So Mars and Neptune have an interesting relationship right now around the new dream, the spiritual growth, and the evolution that you've been in. And then this Mars in Pisces that had to just surrender what he wanted, what he planned, what he had desired to experience, because here he's in the final stages of a 2-year journey that occurs every time that Mars is in Pisces. There is surrender and endings. There's parts of yourself you are meant to dissolve and transcend. There's energies here that could even feel too burdensome. And I'm feeling like one of the main signatures of this week, even into Aries season, is that the light body is going to feel more activated. Our light bodies are going to feel stronger and more effervescent. There is more shining from within that others are sensing or picking up in your auric field. There's more that you are activating and living from that could literally feel lighter to you, that you have closed out and cleared out some deep imprints, that you're sensing a renewal in your sense of self and in your core beingness. So there is a regeneration that's happening here. And with the mutual reception between Neptune and Aries and Mars and Pisces, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than just your life force, which is Mars. It's actually connected to a spiritual life force, Neptune, that is coming in here, moving you forward, ready or not, saying, this is what you intended to create in this new cycle based on this time on the planet. It's literally some type of coded activation where I'm feeling this Neptune in Aries is very strong, and it has a robust energizing quality to it of forward movement, new chapters, and starting something at a soul level that you contracted to begin, and or you feel the remembrance and activations of a new dream. Because I'm seeing this energy goes quite deep. That's part of the influence of Neptune, is that it does go deep into the soul's energy field. And then it also goes high. It goes high and far into the limitless realms. And I feel like this Neptune is bringing your attention to some type of creation that you wanted to experience that could be directly related to a soul contract, something in your Akashic records, something in your spiritual growth, something in your heart, something in any part of your energy that resonates that says, now is a new day, now is a new time. And there could be some very strong and powerful messages coming through in your dream state that's validating this occurrences. Although, okay, just a second, because now they're showing me something that I've been experiencing that I wanted to share, because perhaps you've been experiencing it too. And by they, I mean my galactic team, who have been showing me all these different slides. Like, you know how you'd watch a slideshow and things appear and then disappear? Similar to a mirage, but it's much more specific. Like, I've been seeing this Egyptian king that appears right in front of me and then disappears. And so that's what I mean. It's sort of like when you're awake, you're going to be sensing and feeling new energies presenting themselves that you are ready to see, feel, or sense because of how you've changed your frequency, how your light body might be stronger, and how now those energies can appear to support you or validate you. And I'm seeing this as part of our ascension at this time. And so this came through because maybe you typically see things in your dreams. This is in your waking hours. This is just moving about your day and doing your thing and in the car and at the grocery store or having dinner with friends. It's like things are just appearing now that validate your frequency shift. And it's the Neptune in Aries bringing it to the forefront. It could be quite undeniable. And that's because it's connected to the new chapter and fresh starts that are coded for this particular timeline and for these energies on the planet. I feel all of that is coming in very strongly with the Pisces New Moon and the Aries Equinox and everything I've been mentioning. It's literally ushering you forward into a new reality where there will be fast-moving developments and more that you energetically feel that gives you a clear yes and a clear no. And as these visuals and messages become bigger, you might start to see that other things become really small, like miniatures, shrunk down into these little 2-inch figures. Sort of like the things that are no longer connected to you are barely visible. You have a hard time even seeing them or honing in on them because of the vast differences in energies. I mean, wow, this is wild, but really cool because new psychic abilities are here. In fact, you might start to see more shapeshifters, like people changing form. Their energy vessel shifts into something else, or you could see more going on in your peripheral vision that is active and real, but it's been hidden in other realms. So if that's the case for you, if you're sensing, let's say, movement on the side of your auric field or like just right behind in that back corner that's hard to see and is not always fully visible, trust whatever the feeling is, and then also intend to clear it. Clear it out with blasts of white light, crystalline energies. Blast it out with divine love and whatever high vibrating energies you're resonating with, and just blast it away with peace and consciousness. That's also part of the energy shift here as we close out Pisces and move into Aries, because the Aries energy is about what you see honestly, truthfully, and accurately. You're going to perhaps feel more instinctual knowingness about what is truth and what is not, what is real and what is not. This can be in very simple ways. This can be through everyday experiences. And certainly it can be when you're in another person's auric field, when you feel more of the emotions and energies that you're meant to connect with. So I think there's going to be a lot happening here with our energy bodies that supports our ascension and believing in ourselves. That's also Aries. It's the courage to be you, the courage to exist and to show up as your true authentic self and to live from that space. And so you might feel that there is a burst of confidence that comes through, or there's a part of yourself that feels more love and acceptance and joy in who you are. And so that is going to be part of what is unfolding here as we move more into Aries season. Now, right after the equinox and Mercury stationing direct, we're then going to see this Mars in Pisces trining Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees. And if you'll recall, I did a show for you discussing Jupiter stationing direct here, conjunct Sirius, working with galactic energies, which include loyalty, nobility, leadership, guardianship, deep love, timeless love, galactic connections, expansive empathy, and mastery over the emotional body. As Mars trines this Jupiter and trines Sirius, there is more that we are physically integrating into our own Mars self-awareness. And that's that Mars in Pisces, which is spiritually guided to know when to take action and when to retreat, when to move forward and when to rest. Mars in Pisces is inconsistent, and so there's an understanding that he can't force the river, he can't force divine timing, but there's something that's aligning here on March 21st that is supporting Mars in moving ahead and taking action because he feels it. And it's something that he feels from the heart that's bigger than himself and leads to important emotional fulfillment, manifestations, and expansive understandings of what he has realized and what he wants to move towards that, again, is bigger than him. So when we look at this Mars in Pisces trining Jupiter in Cancer, it's intuitively and emotionally inspired action. And then it does relate to that Neptune in Aries, since Mars and Neptune are in a mutual reception. And again, it's something that is meant to lead you forward, and you feel it in your heart or you feel it physically, and perhaps even both. So that's a day of more forward-moving developments. Then on the next day, March 22nd, the Sun in Aries will be conjunct Neptune in Aries at 1 degree 46 minutes. And this is where the Sun and Neptune want to bring life to a new dream, a new beginning, a new chapter. Yes, how many times can I say new in one podcast? But you get the gist. This is an important spiritual rebirth taking you forward, and the Sun conjunct Neptune means you might not fully see it yet. You might not get it. You're sensing it, you're aware of it. It could be quite energizing, but it's not exactly clear because that Neptunian influence, again, brings about these mirages or these higher level messages that take time for our humanness to fully integrate. So there could certainly be a lot coming through, or a lot that you're feeling on March 22nd. Maybe it has you in a dream state, as if you are moving through your world, floating on air. This could also be a sense that you feel renewed in hope, faith, and in yourself. This feels quite positive overall, and notably, this is the first time the Sun in Aries is conjunct Neptune in Aries since 1874. So here comes the Sun bringing new consciousness and awareness to what Neptune is beginning, the dream that's coming to life and the rebirth that's happening. The Sun is bringing in its creative power to Neptune in Aries, and something is going to be lit up and changed. There's going to be a new ingredient, new development, new plan that the Sun brings into Neptune's awareness and kickstarts more of what you're meant to follow and create. Inspired directions are very real at this time. And one thing you would have to regulate is how you use your energy, because sometimes that Aries energy can be very inspired in the moment, very alive and active, and then 48 hours later has totally forgotten what it was supposed to do or what was so exciting in the first place. So the Aries energy doesn't always go the distance. Keep that in mind as Aries season begins, that you could feel fired up for a bunch of different things, but you want to ensure it's worth your time, energy, and commitment, especially because after the Sun is conjunct Neptune on March 22nd, then the Sun will be conjunct Saturn on March 25th, followed by a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius, also on the same day, March 25th. So March 25th is an important day for what you are building, developing, and creating, because here is that Sun in Aries giving you insight, confidence, and power into what you are practically developing and creating. That would be the conjunction to Saturn in Aries. Now, Saturn in Aries is ready to take strategic risks to build and develop something that would have a tangible effect in your life. This is about dream building based on your independence, your courage, your sense of self. But also at this time, the conjunction to Saturn is sextiling Pluto in Aquarius, which means it's bigger than you. It's more empowered. It involves more people. There is more expansion here, more to develop for the long term that relates to an important life, dream, vision, soul contract, and higher frequency creations. March 25th is a big day. When we see how the sun is aligning with Saturn and Pluto and bringing your attention to perhaps decisions, boundaries, commitments, and a purpose that is ready to come to life. So this could be taking the dreams and inspirations that have been running around or floating around and understanding what to do next. What is practical and effective? What would be sustainable? What's going to work? Which is something that Saturn is always asking. And then the sextile to Pluto ensures that it looks different. It's new, it's co-creation. It brings in more people and pieces than perhaps initially expected. It also can be something that benefits the many and creates more community. I'm feeling this directly as more of the new earth initiatives that are coming into our consciousness around what we want on the planet now, what we're choosing to actively co-create that is groundbreaking, genius, brilliant, unexpected, future-focused, even entrepreneurial, very creative, and allows for people to exist in their individual energy field. It allows for greater authenticity and diversity. Now, they're showing me that this is an energy frequency that already exists, and I'm seeing it as what we would consider floating above our physical world. It's an energy field that has been gaining strength and structure, and as Saturn sextiles Pluto, which will last into early April, more of those energy frequencies, which I would describe as lighter, higher realm frequencies, are moving down, like they're being pulled down with the gravitational force of the earth to land more fully on the planet. I'm trying to describe this as best I can, but think of like a floating city that's being gravitationally pulled closer down to the earth. And it can do so because there is greater support for it to exist in what we would consider the denser energies. And so as always, take it if it resonates, and if you are sensing and seeing what I'm seeing, and if you don't force it, don't make it fit. But I'm just getting the sense that more of the new earth initiatives are being anchored and embedded onto the planet as we move into Aries season. Also important to note that the Saturn in Aries sextile Pluto in Aquarius is going to last until April 5th. And I'm going to do a separate podcast for you on Monday describing more of the themes of that beneficial connection. It's really one of the best aspects of the year, and it's very important for how we are using our individual energy to create something for the future that matters. It's allowing us to face our fears and overcome them. It's allowing us to transform any limitations or blocks. It's allowing us to move forward with a greater connection to our soul's sovereignty and to not hold back what you need, what you want, or who you are in any capacity. So overall, there's a lot going on here as we move into Aries season, but it's big stuff. It's important life developments that are coming in and can be directly related to what is divinely timed for you to begin again at this time on the planet. The sun is interacting with 3 outer planets in a short amount of time. That's a big deal, especially as it's occurring after the Pisces New Moon and after the equinox and after Mercury stations direct. So essentially, be aware of what is presenting itself in your life over this next week. Where do you feel a yes? Where do you want to take a risk? Where do you want to do something on your own? Where are you ready to step forward into a new role or new purpose? This is going to be a time period of those messages coming through, and then you're going to see some real world developments occur around what to do with it, the steps to take, and what is supported. Now, of course, this will be unique to everyone, and it relates directly to where you're at in your own life. But in your astrology chart, you want to look at where you have the first 5 degrees of Aries. So 0 to 5 degrees of Aries is the area of life where there is a lot more occurring for you. A lot of developments, a lot of renewal and rebirths. And this is also where you want to stay very intentional with what you're choosing and what you're saying yes to. When the sun is conjunct Saturn, again on March 25th, that could be a day of holding back or understanding, I've already done this. I've already been there. I don't want to do this again. I already had that job, right? This is where you're understanding, well, I will say yes to this if it's a new version of something, but I don't want to repeat a previous cycle. So that would be something to stay aware of. But overall, we're going to sense that things are changing on the planet. There are strong frequency shifts unfolding, and we are each tapping into them so that we can make empowered choices and take empowered actions that move us forward. We have a very busy Aries season this year, as we're going to have multiple planets in Aries, as both Mercury and Mars will eventually enter Aries in April. Plus, we also have Eris in Aries. So this is an area of your chart that your soul wants you to truly listen to and to trust. The Aries energy is trusting at a primal gut level what is essential for you. So it will be important to drop into your full energy body, to not only make decisions or choices from the mind, but to trust what aligns with your physical energy, with your heart, your emotions, and your overall energy field, which is where you can find yourself doing something or moving in a certain direction even before you fully understand why. So overall, it's a big week. It's important to be intentional. It's important to be trusting yourself. There could be the energy of anticipation and excitement brewing as well. You might sense that you're ready for the next thing and even get some flashes of insights and messages around what that could be or what possibilities are now available. Of course, all of this will be based on how you work with the Pisces and Aries energies in your life. If you have fire sign energy, you're going to feel supported and flowing. You're going to feel activated and that things are now moving forward. If you have strong water sign energy, then these planets in Pisces are giving you more to trust and move with, that you're going to feel. You're going to feel that it's right or feel that it's not. You're going to be sensing what is true for you and perhaps even noticing more what you've been closing out and moving away from. If you have planets in air signs, the fire energy of Aries is going to bring in that momentum and action for those air sign conversations, ideas, relationships, and potentials. So you might be ready to put things into action that you've only been thinking about or talking about. Now you're going to sense, okay, I'm ready to do the thing. I'm ready to take this forward. And then if you have planets in the earth signs, some of this could be moving too fast for you, all the strong Aries energy. You might want to tap the brakes. You might be looking for a slowdown, but this is where you would tune into the wisdom of these Pisces energies, where you're trusting what appears and going with it. The earth signs can prefer a sustainable pace and a reliable path, but that's not what's presenting right now. So the earth signs are learning that it's time to move and to go with it, and that you will have the evidence, proof, and practical solutions that you need as you follow perhaps these fast-moving energies. And yes, they do last into April, so it's not going to let up anytime soon. Now things are going to start to take off and come together. And I certainly hope this is the turning point that you need, as well as the inspired new directions that you've been waiting for. A quick programming note that there will not be a podcast on Friday, but there will be a Monday episode. And for those who have asked, yes, there are still a few tickets left for some of the Crystal Pyramid Experience astrology workshops. I am offering astrology workshops in 7 cities around the US starting in April. And these are 2 90-minute workshop sessions where we are going to be going deeper into your astrology chart through the lens of galactic energies, cosmic codes, ascension development, and energy mastery. We're going to go into more of what resides within your astrology chart that is galactic in nature, with the intention of supporting our individual frequencies at this time. I'm really excited to be teaching this in person and to be connecting with you in person. I also hope that in these gatherings, it brings together more potential friends and soul tribe members, people you can interact with in your local area who have the same passion as you, or even just to understand that you're not alone, that there's others in your area who also love astrology and these cosmic energies. And so the Crystal Pyramid experience is in no particular order: Seattle, Washington; Portland, Oregon; Ojai, California; Austin, Texas; Orlando, Florida; Charlotte, North Carolina; and Boston, Massachusetts. Some of you had said you're waiting until Mercury stations direct to buy your tickets. I can tell you that some places are almost sold out, but I just want to give you a heads up to not wait too long, simply because of how fast they're selling. Wishing you a beautiful Pisces New Moon, Mercury direct, and Aries Equinox beginning. I hope that beautiful developments occur for you over the course of this next week, and as we move fully into Aries season. I'll have a new episode for you on Monday, March 23rd. And as always, thank you so much for your time and energy. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you back here soon.